¡Viva la raza! I lie, I cheat, I steal. I lie, I cheat, I steal. Yo, mamacita, I got that passion that's lasting long. Los mujeres fall in love with that Latin charm. One woman isn't enough, amigo. Siempre cogiendo más mujeres porque soy latino. And I'm tougher than tough, part of your blood, cuz I lie, I cheat, I steal. I lie.
Hey YouTubers, what's going on? It's your boy, once again, rko2582, aka the AJ Lee fanboy, and aka your wrestling otaku. Here, as promised, I'm going to do my 7-year, anniversary, looking back at one of the greatest superstars to ever set foot in the wrestling ring, Eddie Guerrero. And yes, today is exactly, 7 years since his, untimely passing, and can't believe it's been 7 years, gone by so fast, and it only seemed like yesterday. I remember, when I first got the news about Eddie's death. So, in this video, I'm gonna look back, stroll down memory lane, about Eddie Guerrero. Who else? So let's not waste any time and get this memory lane on Eddie Guerrero underway. Alright, the first time I ever saw Eddie Guerrero was back, of course, during the WCW days. Yeah, back when I first started watching wrestling, of course, during the Monday Night Wars Attitude Era, you know the deal. And I remember what stood out to Eddie Guerrero around that time. I remember, the LWO, trying to be like the Latino World Order, trying to be like the Mexican version of the NWO and stuff. That's how I remember Eddie Guerrero from WCW. Yeah, I didn't get to watch him as much in WCW like I wanted to and stuff. And once he came to WWF or WWE, whatever you want to call it, him, Perry Saturn, Dean Malenko, and Chris Benoit, or aka the man that shall not be named. I remember when they came to WWE. I remember they got into a match. I think it was with the Outlaws. I remember them beating them down and stuff. And I was like, oh my god. I was like, no way. They jumped ship. And that was huge at the time because we saw a lot of talent switch from WWF to WCW around that time. And that was a big deal. And once he went to WWE, that's where Eddie Guerrero truly shined. And I remember, of course, when, Eddie and China, of course, that's when the real Latino heat started. Yeah, like Mamacita Latino heat. Oh, I love that. Yeah. And I thought it was cute when China was together. They actually had good chemistry. And I remember when China was on the cover of Playboy, back when China was fine. Nowadays, not so sure. But back then, she was actually kind of cool. And, yeah, I know. It was kind of cool. And, I remember Eddie Guerrero trying to get into the Playboy Mansion, but he couldn't, and he got kicked out. Yeah, I remember that. That was funny as hell. And then, of course, the Latino, he started to rise. And, I remember this promo between him and The Rock. Oh my god, it was hilarious. When Rock was like, whether you a cheat, it was funny. Like, he's like, it was hilarious. And then on top of that, they had an amazing match. And it's one of my personal favorite Eddie Guerrero matches, and Rock's too. And The Rock was the WWE champion at the time, and Eddie Guerrero got to face the champion. And you knew at that moment, you knew he was going to be a future sometime down the road. And when you know it, and it led him to, once he, the brand extension, back when it actually had a brand extension, you had him go to SmackDown, and there was a tournament, and a U.S. title tournament, and the finals happened at Vengeance 2003, and oh my god, him and Chris Benoit for the title. Oh my god, I have Vengeance 2003, mind you. I own that, and it was a good match, and I enjoyed it, and I'm happy Eddie won too, and he was still getting cheered despite he was a heel and stuff. And that one side the fan says all like, Eddie deserves an Oscar. You damn right he does, cause that dude can sell, and emotions and stuff. And that's what I love about Eddie Guerrero. Not only he was a hard worker, but he liked to have fun as well. And yeah, I mean, not take himself too seriously. And that's what I try to do in my daily life. And that's what everyone else likes to try and use him as inspiration. And that's a good thing. And I like him for that. All right. Yep, and here after his U.S. and I forgot he won the tag team titles along with, so he was a dual champion, which was awesome. And after when the Big Slow beat him for the U.S. title, which I hated him at the time still, and I still hate him now. And he lost the tag team title, and I think he turned on to Jury. I can't remember. I think he did. And yeah, they were tag team champions with Chavo once again in the Bachelor's Beat, and then of course yeah, and him and Eddie and Chavo had their rivalry, and yeah, and who's better than who. And then once Eddie finally became the number one contender for the double title, he went up against Brock Lesnar and stuff at No Way Out 2004. Pretty much in almost everyone's list of their personal favorite Eddie Guerrero moment overall, mine too, because he finally busted his ass and he beat Brock Lesnar for the WWE title. And like everyone, I marked the hell out when he did it, and it was an emotional, it was an emotional moment for any wrestling fan out there who's a fan of Eddie Guerrero. I mean, that dude, and I like after he won the title, like on SmackDown, like the post No Way Out, he got to do a title celebration. He got the fiesta and all that stuff, and seeing that again, it makes me miss when, what happened to title celebrations. Like, you don't get title celebrations like that anymore nowadays. And what happened to climbing up to the mountain and stuff, busting your ass, getting to the top? Nowadays, you feel like they give it to you on a silver platter. I don't know. I could be wrong, but that's just how I feel about it. Alright, yeah, it's just, but his WWE title run was a good run. He got the feud with Kurt Angle and JBL, pretty much his greatest rival at the time in SmackDown. And I hated JBL. Yeah, but now I'm starting to have respect for JBL. Hard to believe. That was at the time I was the biggest JBL hater on the face of the planet. But now, looking back on it, he really did his job very well. He was one of, if not the biggest heel around that time. I even put him up there with Triple H around that time, because I hated him just as much. But yeah, it's good stuff. And after the WWE title run was done and over with, and then once Eddie Guerrero, him and Mysterio, they were an amazing tag team. They were tag champs, and I was so happy for them. They were the dream team to me. And then they had their one-on-one match at WrestleMania 21 for the first time. They had co-tag team champions facing each other. And then, every time, Mysterio always got the best Eddie, but then it finally started to get to Eddie, and of course it led to the heel turn. Oh man, that heel turn, in my opinion, was one of the darkest heel turns I ever seen. When Eddie was all like trying to save Mysterio and stuff, and he was all like contemplating, like, you thought he was heel one week, then he was like, oh, I said, and then he beat the shit out of Rey Mysterio and bust him up. I was just like, oh my god. The fans, their expressions said it all. And then when Eddie cut that promo, when he was all like, talking to the mask and stuff, I was like, oh my god. Eddie was scary as hell. Oh my god. I was just, around that time, I was in high school, mind you. I was like 16, I think, and I was just, oh my god. Or going on 17, yeah. Want to go there, and it was just insane. I was just like, and I really hated Eddie too, and I was booing him and stuff, and I was like, no, Eddie. And I was saying, like, and Eddie was like, why, Eddie, why? And it was just, and then he was just evil, man. Then it led up to, SummerSlam, of course, the custody of Dominic. Looking back on it, I kind of wish they didn't bring Dominic into this, but I guess they had to sell it, the feud and stuff, more personal, which it worked, and it just, yeah, and then I have the, back when I had the SmackDown, the best SmackDown DVD, it had the match where Eddie finally beats Rey Mysterio, like, finally getting the monkey off his back, and it was here in Atlanta, too, back in the arena, the Gwinnett Center, and stuff where it happened, and it was a good match, too, especially for TV, and, Yep, and now, sadly, you know, it leaves. Now I need to look at where Eddie Guerrero got close to his untimely passing. Alright, once Survivor Series was coming up, Eddie's, unfortunately, last match was against Mr. Kennedy! Kennedy! Yeah, not Mr. Anderson, Kennedy! And, yeah, and I remember this match too, like, it was yesterday. I mean, I was happy Eddie Guerrero beat Mr. Kennedy. I mean, yeah, of course Eddie Guerrero's lying, cheating still like he always does. And I like how he fake he was getting his head. He's like, he was all like, Mr. Kennedy he's like, oh, my head. Like I say, Eddie Guerrero's son deserves a damn Oscar. And yep, and then after that, and then we got the news that Eddie Guerrero was dead, and I didn't want to believe it, man. Just like any other wrestling fan, I didn't want to believe it. I thought it was a sick joke or something. I mean, I really did thought it was a sick joke, but they said it was for real, and I just broke down, man. I mean, and losing Eddie was like losing a family member because I mean, I just love the guy. I mean, I just couldn't believe it. I mean, I was 17 years old, mind you, and I was a senior in teaching high school. And when I got the news, I went to school, and I was talking to a couple friends before classes. You know, like we were outside, you know, like talking about what was our favorite Eddie Guerrero's moments, everything and stuff. And we were still wrestling fans at the time too. It was just yeah, we were just trying to think of the good times of Eddie Guerrero, and I just miss him, man, and I still miss him now. So as of today, I'm still Eddie Day and stuff, and all the matches I'm gonna finally watch for the first time, because I now have the Clash of Champions 3 disc set. I'm gonna watch the DDP versus Guerrero match for the Battle Royal Ring, and of course Jericho and Eddie Guerrero for the Cruiserweight title, and I can't wait. And I'm gonna rewatch the matches from the Rise and Fall of WCW with Guerrero and them. Of course, when he faced Malenko for the U.S. title, and of course Six, aka X-Pac, for a ladder match, which I enjoy those matches by the way, and they're really good matches. So I can't wait to rewatch those matches today, since it is my personal Eddie Day. And I hope you enjoyed my look back on Eddie Guerrero 7 years later. And until next time, this is your boy rko2582. Viva la raza! And if you're not cheating, you're not trying. And love you, Eddie. Miss you. You're gone, but we're never forgotten. Peace.